Weights and Downer. You or someone you know has lost the ability to earn a living because someone put the company interests before their well-being. In times like these, there's one firm who has handled hundreds of catastrophic and lost earning cases. Before you settle fast with a company's attorney, give Weights and Downer a call. 985-876-0870. Weights and Downer. Let us fight for your rights.
Welcome back to Bayou Time News. I'm Martin Falls, and as you saw, I just did a story on another segment with Patty Floyd and Dennis Elford of the Terrebonne Parish DA's office on a rape case here in Terrebonne Parish. But I got to tell you right now, I have First Lieutenant Blake Tabor with the Sheriff's Department here in Terrebonne Parish. And this story we're about to talk about, in the long run, we'll give you more information as it comes out, but this is going to be a very prolific case on rape cases and other crimes here in the parish. And First Lieutenant, good to see you, first of all.
Thank you for having me, Martin. I appreciate it.
This is incredible looking at this press release. I'll give you the floor, but prolific may be an understatement on this.
Could very well be, and again, we don't want to attach any labels as we're, again, in our infant stages of this, but what we're seeing now and the speed in which this information is sort of culminating is extremely disturbing, maybe even to the likes of something that we haven't seen before in Terrebonne Parish. So, I'll start in with this case. Again, this sort of came to light on September 16th of this year, where our patrol division responded to a local Terrebonne address in reference to some allegations of sexual misconduct, which, again, we get that all the time here, unfortunately. But the victims were identified as some young male subjects, which, again, is not something that we typically see. Mm-hmm. So as we got there, we quickly began to determine some information, which the suspect was identified as a Wayne D. Bennett. You see him photographed here, who was described as a close family friend to the initial victims. During the course of that investigation, of course, the victims described several different locations within Terrebonne Parish, outside of Terrebonne Parish, as well as even a separate state, neighboring state to us, where these sexual allegations sort of happened. So again, anytime these cases come to light, again, we bring in the Special Victims Unit, who are our resident experts in this field. And again, they were able to determine that some of these allegations were in fact true. Again, they began a joint investigation very quickly with the Lafourche Parish Sheriff's Office, Louisiana State Police, and also Homeland Security investigations. And this case sort of just continued to roll on. Again, we were able to identify, we won't discuss exactly how many victims at this point, but it was north of 5 victims initially. And again, some of the allegations against Mr. Bennett that were made are just something that would shock the conscience,
So
even for a seasoned investigator.
Parish, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Just 5 that we are dealing with as the Sheriff's Office in Terrebonne Parish. Again, I won't discuss the victims in Lafourche Parish or any other neighboring jurisdictions, but there are, in fact, victims there as well. So again, as this culminated, we were able to quickly get arrest warrants for Mr. Bennett's arrest, and we were able to track him to an address in Florida, where we reached out to federal partners there who were quickly able to take him into custody and arrest him on our outstanding arrest warrants. So ultimately, he was taken into custody, and he was extradited back to our state on the 25th of September for charges, and I'll go ahead and tell you some of these. First-degree rape, third-degree rape, trafficking of children for sexual purposes, 5 counts, indecent behavior with juvenile, 3 counts. He is currently incarcerated on a $700,000 bond, and he still remains jailed here in Terrebonne Parish. Now, the important part to point out is that this is an ongoing investigation. We initially released our information on Friday. Even since that time, we have filed some additional charges, which we're going to be giving out some additional information very shortly about that as to what those charges were. But, again, this is a very fast-moving case. But another important point to point out is detectives did an interview with this particular suspect. Not only did he admit to the allegations by the initial victims, but he also provided an abundance of information to detectives, which may lead to an unknown amount of victims that may surface as a result of this.
So the number, I was just going to ask you, it seems to be it's a pattern, but if was extradited from Florida, these numbers could be just mounting in the different parishes. So this is incredible news that you're bringing. I would assume at one point somebody might be watching this broadcast and they may come forward to you and say, I'm another victim. How can they get in touch with you?
Absolutely. And if that is in fact the case, we want them to immediately contact our sheriff's office at 985-876-2500. They can ask to speak for me personally, or they can reach out to our special victims unit. Anyone within our investigative services can direct them to the detectives they need to speak with.
I would assume, and correct me if I'm wrong, that we appreciate y'all bringing us the quick information, but there's going to be a lot of logistical things that you're going to be working with other agencies on, because this may be a multi-agency press conference coming at one point.
Certainly could be, and again, if it gets to that point, that is our intent. Again, we're still uncovering information with this that we don't even know where the final stopping point is. Yeah. We know that by his own admission, he's been doing this for over 30 years, victimizing children for over 30 years. And, we just hope that we're able to bring some closure and at least identify all of the victims in this case.
Wow. Unbelievable news coming from the Sheriff's Department here. Terrebonne Parish First Lieutenant Blake David, thank you so much. And we'll continue to follow this story. This is shocking when you read it in the amount of years that this has allegedly been going on. And like the First Lieutenant said, this is a mounting case, so we're going to follow it. No telling where it's going to end up. And once again, we appreciate the Sheriff's Department getting us that information. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Today's social media segment is brought to you by South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together. Waits and Downer, attorneys at law. Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough.